Welcome back, listeners, to the True Alien Podcast. You know how it is. Every day we dive into some crazy stories.
Aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it. If it's out there and weird, we're here for it.
You got it. I'm Adrian Smith, and as always, I'm joined by the amazing Julia Jones.
Hi, everyone. Always ready for another wild ride.
So, get this. We got a ton of messages and notes from you guys.
Oh, yeah, tons.
And, well, they printed us to this. Well, I guess you'd call it a mystery.
A real head-scratcher.
This time it's about, well, religion and aliens.
Whoa, sounds heavy.
Yeah, it gets pretty deep. We're talking about a possible alien influence on, historical religious events.
No way, like ancient astronauts and stuff.
Kinda. But the real kicker is the sources are ancient Vatican texts and artifacts.
Whoa, hold up. Vatican, like the Catholic Church?
The one and only. Now, look, we're not saying we believe all this stuff, right?
Of course not.
We're just going to lay it all out there, look at the facts, or whatever we can find.
Yeah, we're all about exploring these crazy ideas with you guys.
It's all about the journey. Right?
Exactly. So what's the story here? Who found this stuff?
Well, it all starts with this guy, Father Marco Valenti. He's like a historian, and he also cracks codes for the Vatican.
Okay, sounds like our kind of guy.
So picture this. He's down on the Vatican Secret Archives.
Legendary.
You said it.
Yeah.
And he's given this seemingly normal task, authenticate some old texts they just found.
Okay, routine stuff. Right.
Yeah, you think so.
Right.
But this leads him to a secret chamber. And get this, it's under St. Peter's Basilica.
No way. Under the Basilica.
Right. You think they would have found everything there by now.
Talk about hidden history.
And it gets even crazier. The texts are in Aramaic Subral language.
Okay, so we're talking serious ancient stuff here.
Oh, yeah. And guess what they're about?
Don't tell me aliens.
You got it. They talk about these celestial visitors coming down from the sky.
Like angels or something.
Well, hold on. It's not that simple. These aren't just your typical biblical beings. They brought knowledge and power, like advanced tech.
Whoa, time out. So are we talking aliens disguised as angels?
It's wild, right? I mean, they're described as having metallic skin, glowing eyes, and even manipulating energy.
This is straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? And it's not just vague descriptions either. They go into detail about these visitors and their abilities.
So they weren't just seeing things, they were trying to document what they were witnessing.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What if they really saw something amazing and tried to explain it with the words they had?
Totally. Okay, so we have these ancient texts about aliens hanging out with early Christians. What else?
Well, there's this one specific text, supposedly written by one of St. Peter's disciples.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
It talks about this shining vessel coming down from the sky. Now, you hear that. What do you picture?
Not exactly a fluffy cloud and angel wings, that's for sure.
It's described as descending, like landing. And guess what? They performed healings.
Like miracles.
Exactly. But hold on, there's more. This vessel brought a gift.
A gift. Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
A small crystalline object. It glowed, and apparently it could cure diseases.
Whoa, hold up. Are we saying miracles were actually alien tech?
Well, think about it. It was a physical object with specific effects. It wasn't just like a prayer or a blessing.
Mind blown. This is a whole new way of looking at things.
Right. So, okay, we've got Father Marco down in the archives. He finds these mind-blowing texts. What do you think happens next?
He probably freaked out, called the Pope, called CNN.
You'd think. But according to the sources, he kept digging. He went deeper into the archives, looking for more clues.
What did he find?
It's like he uncovered this whole hidden history of unexplained stuff, phenomena, relics, and a lot of it pointed to technology that just shouldn't have existed back then.
So the tests were just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. And in your notes, you highlighted two really fascinating examples.
Yeah.
The Shroud of Turin and the Sudarium of Oviedo.
Ah, yes. Classic mysteries. Everyone's heard of the Shroud. You know, that image of a crucified man, like a photographic negative imprinted on the cloth. It's always been controversial.
And the sources suggest that the way it was woven, the technology behind the image itself, it's beyond anything they should have been able to do back then.
Right. It's like, how did they create something so complex in ancient times?
And then there's the Sudarium of Oviedo, the cloth that supposedly covered Jesus' face after the crucifixion. And guess what?
Don't tell me. Alien DNA on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not quite, but close. They found traces of elements that aren't typically found here on Earth.
Okay, that's pretty convincing. If it's true, of course.
Of course. But it definitely supports the idea that there's something more going on here, some kind of extraterrestrial connection.
So we've got texts describing alien beings, relics with otherworldly origins. Sounds like Father Marco was onto something big. What happened next?
Well, things take a darker turn. He stumbles upon these hidden papal decrees.
Papal decrees, like secret orders from the Pope?
Yeah, but they were written code. Super hush-hush stuff.
Yeah, and what did they say?
They talked about encounters and even communication between the Vatican and aliens. They knew about it all along.
Wow. The Vatican keeping alien secrets? This is huge. But why? Why all the secrecy?
They were worried about causing mass panic and, well, basically destroying people's faith. Imagine the implications for religion if it came out that miracles were just aliens with fancy tech.
I could see that. But wouldn't it also kind of expand our view of faith? Like, maybe God works in ways we don't understand.
That's a great point. It makes you rethink everything. But, okay, so the Vatican is sitting on this massive secret, and then, bam, Father Marco discovers a secret lab.
A secret lab? What was going on there?
They were studying all this stuff, the artifacts, trying to figure out the whole alien thing. And get this, there was a replica of that crystalline object from the texts.
No way! The glowing healing device.
The one and only. Supposedly, it emitted this soft blue light and even hummed. And when Marco touched it,
Something happened.
he saw visions, star charts, alien landscapes. It was like a data download.
Wow. That's direct contact, not just observation. So they weren't just hiding it, they were actively trying to understand it.
Exactly. Which brings us to another twist. There was this secret group within the Vatican, the custodians.
The custodians! Sounds ominous.
They believed humanity wasn't ready for the truth about aliens. They saw it as a threat to the world order, to religion.
So they were like the men in black of the Vatican.
Something like that. They controlled information, manipulated records, even silenced people who knew too much.
So Father Marco was in serious danger if they found out what he knew. What did he do?
He did what any sane person would do. He grabbed the replica and copies of the text and ran.
He became a fugitive?
He had to. He knew this information could change everything.
So where is he now?
He's still out there, hiding, trying to get the truth out.
Wow, what a story. So what's the takeaway here, Adrian?
Well, if all this is true, we've been looking at miracles all wrong. It wasn't divine intervention, it was aliens.
It really makes you question everything, doesn't it? Our history, our faith, our place in the universe.
A lot to take in, that's for sure.
And it makes you wonder, what were the aliens' intentions, and why is the Vatican so determined to keep this all secret? Lots to think about.
That's right. Big thanks to all our listeners for sending us this amazing story. Keep those tips coming, and until next time, keep looking up.
See you next time.
And remember, the truth is out there, somewhere.